So, hello, Renato.
Yeah.
To start, can you briefly tell us about your background and what led you to dedicate yourself to study marine ecosystems?
I'm a biologist and an ecologist by training, and I've been doing research in marine ecosystems now for about 15 years. And what led me to study them was, a teenage days passion for the ocean, like most people that end up doing there. But what kept me researching these ecosystems was about finding out how fascinating they are, how biologically complex, how diverse, how abundant the organisms can be given mild or no human interference. And it's just fascinating.
So, you study coral reefs and how marine species interact with their ecosystems. What do you observe regarding the direct or indirect impacts of industrial fishing on these ecosystems?
So we don't see often direct impacts, but we do see indirect impacts. So one of the most pervasive things that can happen is as industrial fisheries start operating in countries that didn't have those industries there, they start taking away large pelagic fish that normally local small scale fisheries also seek. And those small scale fisheries are then displaced from the things that they normally use to target. Then they tend to turn into reef species for their fishing, and you start seeing depletion of local resources. So, really strong, negative, indirect interactions that do affect local people and that do affect, by consequence, also local resources and the communities in these much more coastal ecosystems, such as the coral reefs.
And what are the main challenges you face in your conservation works, and how do you think we could overcome them?
I think the challenges have gotten bigger in these last what 10 years, maybe particularly in these last 5 to 6 years, because now we have this overall distrust in science and scientists and facts in this post-fact world. Rumors become truths as long as you have people. So I think the challenges have become broader than just marine conservation. They're really putting in danger our use of science as the beacon for society. And I think the challenge is then how can we ensure that we start getting back our voice to support policies, to support governments in doing the right thing, and not get washed away by the rumors and opinions and people that have interests other than the best of society.
The last question. Switzerland has no maritime border, yet many Swiss people feel concerned about protecting the ocean, but the other are more disconnected because we are not close to the coast.
Yeah.
What role can non-coastal countries play in the preservation of marine ecosystems? What can we do?
Yeah, I completely understand, and I can see how people feel disconnected. They just don't see that every day, and they don't feel that it's the same world, but it is the same world. We're all connected, and we're all connected in ways that sometimes are not immediately obvious. But once you start figuring out, realizing these connections, for instance, based on what you buy on your supermarket, what you eat today, people love traveling, and Swiss are a traveling people in general. So they love going to places that are interesting. They love going to places that are healthy, where communities are culturally different but also welcoming. And so once you figure out that you are part of this globally connected world in one way or the other, then you can start feeling also responsibility towards it. And then you start feeling that you need to do something. And one point that I think is important is Switzerland is an outsized economy. It has an outsized influence in the world just based on its population because it's got resources. And so it can have an outsized positive effect in the world as well. And when people realize that, they can start using their network. There's so many international institutions that are based in Switzerland, in conservation work, in scientific work, in the policy world.
Mm.
And resources are here, and they are often allocated from here towards other places. So there are many opportunities to act, to get involved. They may not be obvious. They're certainly not obvious for me as not a person directly here, but I can see that these connections exist, and that if people are willing to do things like you are, you will definitely find paths to do it, and will be able to get involved and to make this outsized influence obvious on the world, with consequences for the places that we care, and that we just don't think about these places every day because we don't see them.
And if you have a message for the population here in Switzerland or even bigger in the world, what will it be?
No, I think there's hope. I think there's hope. I think in some aspects we are starting to see the first directional changes. It's still not enough, and we have hard times coming. And we need to face these hard times, and we need to start being more assertive about our influence in the ways that we can. I mean, we need to care about who we vote. We need to care about how we vote. Yes, there are individual things that we can do, but the most impacting things we can do as individuals, in my opinion, are pressuring who has really the policy power to affect larger scale changes. That's, I think, the most impactful thing that we can do.
Thank you so much for your time, for your invaluable insights, and for your dedication with your studies and everything. And thank you for this small interview.
No worries. Thank you, Ian. It's a pleasure, man. I wish you all the best, and all the best for your documentary as well.
Thank you very much.